Alright guys, so excuse me. So I was saying that please do not keep the machines or the services available inside the AWS console because the underlying hardware usage costs, and we're trying to keep the costs to the low so everyone could do the lab, and this is not good. So Duong, so HAIDUONG. So yeah, I found your machines there. Duong, please do not leave the EC2 instances and any other service intact. Delete right after you have used it and finish. So finish the lab later fast, right? Well, whatever your speed is, finish the lab and delete immediately. That's the main thing, right? So I found certain services in your name, and I had to delete them myself. So 3 machines were just there, which I had to delete just now, right? So hopefully you're seeing this, and because that's gonna really cost any student the marks, as well as you know it will cost us, and then it will affect everyone, right? So please, it's a warning. Please don't leave any of the resources intact. We had suffered already in the last course where the credits just were used up, and then we could not do the lab. Then I had to just show you, right? So we want to keep the credits there so we could try to we should all be able to do the labs. So this is for everyone, that we need to keep the cost to the minimum, right? Cloud works this way. We're trying to get another solution because of the pandemic. We don't know when it's gonna end fully, so we're stuck with the rules of the cloud. Okay, so guys, I kept this name here, so I'll just email you as well, Dong. So please, when you are done with your services and machines, don't keep them there, just delete them, right? So I'll just later email you. Okay guys, so I'll just go ahead and we can talk about the EC2 auto scaling, and excuse me. So EC2 auto scaling, and this is a very important service, and so yeah. Oh, there you go. So proof. Okay, so I terminated the machines, but please don't keep those machines like this here, right? So I'm just checking all the other environment, and the billing can increase because of that, and everyone will be suffering with this. So I'll just go for AWS Auto Scaling, and so AWS Auto Scaling monitors your applications and automatically adjusts capacity to maintain steady, predictable performance at the lowest possible cost. Okay, after this I'll explain in English as well. Well, this is English, but I'll explain it in simpler way. Using AWS Auto Scaling, it's easy to set up application scaling for multiple resources across multiple services in minutes. The service provides a simple, powerful user interface that lets you build scaling plans for resources including Amazon EC2 instances and smart fleets, Amazon ECS tasks, Amazon DynamoDB tables and indexes, and Amazon Aurora replicas. I thought there was a question. Guys, the mics off. There are sounds coming from the mic. Okay. So auto scaling makes scaling simple with recommendations that allow you to optimize performance, costs, or balance between them. If you're already using Amazon EC2 Auto Scaling to dynamically scale, so that's the main word here, to dynamically scale. So I'm just going to explain that now with diagram. Your Amazon EC2 instances, you can now combine it with AWS Auto Scaling to scale additional resources for other AWS services. With AWS Auto Scaling, your applications always have the right resources at the right time. Okay, so what does all this means? Okay, yeah. That's Tuesday. Auto Scaling. So that's the URL, and wow, change color. Really? So what does it mean? Suppose you have so there's a scenario that it's Best Buy. It's Boxing Day, right? And it's the midnight here, and the midnight is arriving, and Best Buy guys have they try to get their site website. There's a suppose a virtual machine here, EC2 instance, and they have a web server inside, and that web server has obviously all the web pages that have products inside, right? So product 1 and product 2, product 3, product 4, right? And so on. So this web server, suppose they decided to have just one virtual machine, so one EC2 instance here, and that's Canada Computers, or it's Best Buy, or any other Newegg, or any other website. Now if they keep one machine, and they know that there will be thousands and thousands of users who will be coming to their website to purchase their products, right? And there are very cool deals going on there. So if they have one virtual machine, and the users start coming in as the midnight starts, it's 12:01, and there are so many users here. Suppose there are 2,000 users in the first 10 to 20 minutes, and then it goes to 5,000, and then 10,000 users, and then 20,000 users are on their site, and so on. It keeps on increasing. So obviously the CPU usage will grow up until it simply goes freezing, right? So the CPU usage goes up and up, right, until it is the machine is fully frozen, and nobody can click anything, and you lose all the customers there, or you need to restart the server. That effectively disconnects every user there. So what about that if the CPU, suppose you put the CPU usage percentage to 75% here, and what happens is that if the machine CPU goes more than the threshold of 75%, then please create another clone of this machine automatically and distribute the traffic among all the the two machines. Now if these two machines both, because the traffic kept on increasing, and your threshold that you initially described here, or configured here, is 75%, and both machines also are overwhelmed with a lot of users, so it will create automatically a third machine and distribute all the traffic, and then fourth machine if that also goes more than 70%, and fifth, and sixth, and seventh, and so on. So you can actually put a limit of the machines that, okay, please keep creating more machines if my every machine's CPU threshold crosses 75% or 80%, whatever threshold you put there. But keep increasing my machine up to, so this is, first of all, it is called scale out, and in scale out machines are increased, like another clone is created, and we can put a limit. We can put a limit on scale out. But first of all, why is it scaling out? Because you don't want to lose any customers, and as soon as the CPU threshold goes more than 75% or 80%, whatever your threshold is, it's gonna create another clone, and it just distribute the traffic among the all the machines that are there, and it will keep on distributing the traffic. Suppose the traffic keeps on increasing, maybe it's $50,000, then it reaches $100,000 by 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. It's 100,000 users are connected right now, and they're going through, browsing through your sites, Best Buy sites there. So if Best Buy has configured this auto scaling, so we can put a limit on scale out. So maybe they say that, okay, I understand that, yeah, there could be 100,000 users there, so, but my pocket or our budget allows us to have 100 VMs total. So auto scaling, please keep on creating virtual machines if there are more users, and our machines are still overburdened by so many users. So, but to keep on creating it until 100 VMs. If there are still more users and even all 100 virtual machines also are breaching this threshold of 75%, then I don't want you to create any more machine, and yeah, whatever happens, I'm responsible for that. Or Best Buy would not want to risk loss of any potential buyers, so Best Buy would go for, okay, keep going unlimited, or it's not going to be like unlimited. Whenever there's a pressure of users, it's going to create another machine. If there is no pressure of users, it's not going to create a machine, right? If the CPU does not reach this threshold, it's not going to create an extra machine. So it all depends on the real-time information and what's happening now. So you could go for 1,000 virtual machines as well. Suppose you're expecting huge amount of users. Amazon would obviously use auto scaling on very, very large scale during especially the Boxing Day and Black Fridays. So the thing is that if the pressure is increased on one machine, auto scaling simply checks that what is the threshold. Threshold would also be that how many users are there. Maybe there are 2,000 users, so how much bandwidth has been used, and according to that you put a threshold. It breaches the threshold and a new machine is created by auto scaling, right? So that is called scale out. And we can put a limit on scale out, 100 VMs or 1,000 VMs or 10,000 VMs, up to you. And also 100,000 VMs, right? So 100,000, remember. So we can put a limit on scale out 100 VMs, and there's a scale in as well. So scale out, yes, if users keep on increasing and the threshold keeps on breaching, please keep on creating my clones and keep on distributing the users across among those clones, right? But what about okay, when this happens, obviously it's going to put a pressure on your budget, on your pocket, on your company's budget, right? This machine, so when you're deciding that please go up to 100 virtual machines, right? So you need to also decide that this machine should have how much RAM, right? So suppose you say that, okay, I need a machine with 32 GB RAM, right? So now obviously you're using underlying Amazon's hardware, and suppose 2.4 gigahertz processors, and times 2 processors, and also all maybe not 1 terabyte, but maybe 500 GB disk, 500 GB disk. So you have to define a hardware and whatever bandwidth you want. So you will define all that when you're creating a machine. That now if the traffic increases, the threshold is breached, another machine will be created with exactly same configuration, and another, and so on. Obviously every machine created will use the underlying hardware, which puts a dent in your pocket. So obviously you need to pay for all these, and you hope that, hey, those users that connected actually became the actual buyers, and they were not just browsing and then went away, and there were no sales, and I get to pay for all the hardware usage that these virtual machines have been using. So the thing is that it's going to affect the budget, and whatever number of, suppose it did reach, you got maybe 100,000 users, and as a result you got 100 virtual machines created there, 100 machines are running, and per hour usage maybe 0.00345 cents, but you've been using it for all night and maybe all day as well. So that's going to be 100 virtual machines with that kind of amount. So obviously it's going to be charged a lot, unless you have configured scale in as well, and that's a very good feature as well, that when you want to scale in, so this means that it's the opposite of scale out. Scale out is that if you have a lot of users, keep creating machines. So we can put a limit on scale out 100 VMs, yeah. If it keeps on breaching. So if now obviously I did not put that other sentence here, so I could compare it with the scale in feature. Scale out is that if the CPU threshold, so there are other thresholds, suppose we selected CPU threshold is breached, then threshold is breached, then create a new VM. So I should just put some more information here. If the CPU threshold is more than 75%, and that's an example, you can just put any threshold. I'm going to do that. More than 75%, 75%, then create a new VM, right? So, and keep creating until whatever limit you gave. Suppose you gave that, okay, keep creating but not more than 100 VMs, or not more than 50 VMs, or not more than 1000 VMs, up to you. But scale in, obviously that would be the complete opposite of that. What would that be? If the CPU threshold is lower than, suppose, and here also you want to put whatever you want to put, lower than 25%, then start deleting my VMs. So this means that if there are not enough users, and it goes down even below 25%, deleted. So users are not there, and if there are certain users still there, and as long as it's more than 25%, the machine will not be deleted. Otherwise, if it's lesser than usage is lesser than that, obviously this means that users have started to go away, and lesser users are there, which have been distributed among all the machines. So if the CPU threshold is lower than 25%, then start deleting my VM. So that's a very, very good feature, because this way the business does not lose money while they are having less users. They are users / less business. So it's a money saving strategy. Less users means no sale or less sales, so don't charge me for that. And they just simply tell you, AWS offers you that feature that, okay, we're not going to charge you if you're not doing business, right? So pay for what you are using, and also when you are having business, we're going to make sure that the business is going up, and up, and you're not losing any customers. But when you don't have customers, you don't have to pay us as well, and we're going to just delete the machines for you when they're not needed. So that is called scale in. So scale out and scale in. These are the features of auto scaling that really saves us from overspending while we are not making any sales. So that's AWS auto scaling. This is also AWS auto scaling is the same feature in Azure. Microsoft Azure is called scale set, and that is called auto scaling in AWS. My suggestion always is that before you hit the market for jobs, Microsoft Azure is something that you should also know, and there are so many jobs for Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365, which is also called Office 365. Used to call, now it's Microsoft 365. Anyway, so auto scaling feature is this, and very beneficial for the business, and you don't lose any customers when you're using this service. So it's easy to get started with AWS Auto Scaling using the AWS Management Console, Command Line Interface, CLI, or SDK, Software Development Kit. AWS Auto Scaling is available at no additional charge. You pay only for the AWS resources needed to run your applications and Amazon CloudWatch monitoring fees. So if you want to monitor your machines as well, obviously you can, then there's a one-stop monitoring service called CloudWatch, and that service will be, they will charge you for the service, but you will get the real-time monitoring of which machine is down, which machine is performing well, which machine is frozen, for example, or anything else you want to see there happening. So benefits of auto scaling: set up scaling quickly. So this is all about scaling. So the machines increase in number if your clients, customers have increased in size, in numbers as well, right? Make smart scaling decisions, and AWS Auto Scaling lets you build scaling plans that automate how groups of different resources respond to changes in demand. You can optimize availability, costs, or a balance of both, right? Automatically maintain performance. Obviously, you maintain optimal application performance and availability even when workloads are periodic, unpredictable, or continuously changing. If it is continuously changing, now suppose it's the Boxing Day and it's the midnight, and the shopping has started already on your web servers, but suppose from 12 o'clock till 2 o'clock there was a lot of traffic, and then from 2 o'clock till 4 or 5:30 the traffic actually went down. As soon as the traffic started going down, the users obviously were lesser, so your machine started getting deleted. And then at maybe at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, at once traffic increased again, and then throughout till the afternoon the traffic was increasing or a lot. So machines will keep on increasing up to this number or whatever number you put there for total virtual machines that you can afford to have. And then when the traffic goes down, it just simply starts leaking. So if it's continuous and it's unpredictable, that is also covered by auto scaling. It simply removes the machine if the users are gone. It simply starts chatting again when the users are back. So pay only for what you need. That's obviously we discussed that. So if the users are less, this means you don't need the virtual machine there. This means, so auto scaling will simply delete the machines. So how it works: AWS Auto Scaling, unified scaling for your cloud applications. Explore your applications, discover what you can scale, choose what to optimize, performance or cost, track scaling as it happens. So yes, that's the process. Obviously, when we create auto scaling, we'll know that what to configure, what not to configure, what is good to configure. And this guy has written this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, this guy. Okay, so get started with AWS. Sign up for AWS account. Learn with a 10-minute tutorial. Start with the okay. Yeah, so let's do it. And hopefully the idea is clear that it's just going to increase with the increase in whatever the threshold you put for either CPU or bandwidth. So how do we start this? Obviously, first of all, so I'll refresh that. So here in now auto scaling would require a template to be there, right? Okay, so what's the concept with that? Obviously, you need to have one template machine there so its clones can be made, right? So template machine is needed when auto scaling is done. But before that, obviously, you need to be given the rights on the EC2 instances and auto scaling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to IAM, and so guys, again, it's just that um, we could all keep on doing the labs, future labs as well. So only do what I'm doing and delete your machines as or resources that you've created as soon as possible, and that would be good for everyone. But otherwise, auditing is good here, so it will just tell us that who created the resources and then forgot to delete, and you will lose your marks for that if there are resources used. And I wish we had all out access to everything, but cloud rules are different, and especially in education, when they just simply donate this labs, so then they go even more strict. But yes, we will still be able to learn what we need to learn. So I'll just go down here to the Tuesday class and permissions. So Amazon EC2 full access, IAM full access, elastic load balancing. We don't need elastic load balancing, but auto auto scaling console full access. Auto scaling column is on app stream. Nope. So that would be it. Other than that, no read-onlys there, and yeah. So I'll attach this policy. So guys, my suggestion is to sign out, sign in now. So this policy could implement on you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sign out, and then let's just sign in again. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. So I'll just go to services. So let's go to services, guys. And on the right side, you can see North Virginia here, right? So EC2 service, obviously it goes for the region, but IAM does not go for any region, it's just global. So I'm going to click the EC2. And on the top right, you can see North Virginia here. And make sure you do see that. So there's that launch templates under the EC2 dashboard, you can all see. And I'm going to click launch templates now. So this is the page that comes, EC2 launch template. So before you auto scale, obviously you need to define a template which is just a sample virtual machine with some type of configuration that you define here, and that virtual machine's copy or clone gets created in auto scaling. So this would be our first screenshot here, where your name on the top, ID on the top is showing, and then North Virginia on the right is showing an EC2 dashboard, but you have selected launch template here. So that would be screenshot number 1, and its name would be just EC2 launch template, as the name shows here. Screenshot 1 is EC2 launch template. Screenshot 1 EC2 launch template. Okay, so I'll just take a screenshot now. Sample screenshot. and screenshot one if we got the question in the exam related to region. Yeah. Screenshot one. Launch template. Oh, what was it? It was this. Yeah, EC2 launch template. Okay, I'll just put it on the WhatsApp as well. EC2 launch template. It's cloud. What was that? 3108. Dash screenshot one dash. Okay. So where were we? Yeah. So the question in the exam also came that you have IAM and which region we went for IAM. So let me just go to IAM here. And once we click IAM, you can see that on the top right, it's just global written there. No, but I just want to go for North Virginia, right? So I want to go for North Virginia, and I click. I can't, because it says here IAM does not require region selection, right? So region selection, and yes, this I mentioned when we started the lab. Then I mentioned several times that it's a global feature, it's a global service. It does not require region. When you are creating users, you're creating users for the whole, any of the region that you work on. The users will be just available for that region. So IAM, or Identity and Access Management, does not connect with any region. While if we go for EC2 here, so that's region specific. So now if I want to go for any region, I can actually click. There's no such message here that it does not go for any region. If I go for well, there are other services as well, like CloudWatch. This is a monitoring service, so it's not specific to any region. Any region's resources can be connected to monitoring service here, right? Okay guys, so here what we were doing, I'm in EC2 dashboard here, and I'm going to go down to launch templates, and that was our first screenshot here. And so let's just go ahead and create launch template here. Okay. So launch template, guys. Let me just quickly visit. It's the EC2 dashboard, right? So you have full access to EC2 dashboard already. Just wait for me, don't do anything. And it's a full EC2 dashboard, so I understand already you got permissions there. Template. There's no such permission. That's good. I just wanted to cross check, although it was pretty clear that it's part of the EC2 dashboard. So I'm going to click that, create launch template, so we could launch this template and configure it, and then go ahead with the AWS auto scaling. So I'm going to click create launch template. Let's click create launch template, and you should be seeing this page, which is just simply asking for filling up this form to create to configure a template. So the first thing obviously would be your first name dash launch template. So your first name launch template. If there are two students with the same name, please just put the first letter of your second name as well, or last name. So your first name launch template, And template version description, well, like a prod web server for my app, or yeah, I'm just gonna copy, and you can just put any detail here. I'll just paste this, your first name dash launch template, and auto scaling guidance. So select this if you intend to use this template with EC2 auto scaling. Obviously we want to use it with EC2 auto scaling, so I'm just gonna select this, right? So provide guidance to help me set up a template that I can use with EC2 auto scaling. Okay. Template tags, if I just expand that, there's nothing here. Yeah, you can just put manager, someone, and branch, Toronto, department, sales. So if we go for source template here, and that is like if you created your own machine that you want to attach here, yes, you can do that too. Source template, otherwise if you drop down, right now it's not showing anything, but normally if you want to have your customized virtual machine with all your software, customized software and drivers and everything, you can just give that template whose copies can be made as well. If I go further down, so I haven't selected anything or changed anything in these two options, and I'm going to go down here to launch template contents. So first of all, it says that, okay, what kind of Amazon machine image you want. You want to create image of Linux machines with web server installed, or Windows machines. So it's the image of your choice. If I drop down here or drop up, so it says here, well, it shows pretty much all the machines here, Mac OS, and that's a very long list of all the machine images that are there. You can see that if I go really down here, so it's not just the operating system, but with SQL Server you want, or with web server you want, or with any other software combination of operating system plus application combination, whichever image is already created. So that's a very long list of images that you can select. What we can select is, we're not going to actually connect to this machine. We need to just check that if auto scaling itself actually works or not. So what we can do is we can just type here Windows 2019. Well, when you type Windows, that's the first one that comes, Windows Server 2019 base. You can just type the full thing, Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base, or just type Windows and it should just appear like this. So I'm going to select Windows Server 2019 base, right? So it shows here that this is the image, but you could have, there's a very huge selection that which image you really want. And if we go further down here, so what type of instance you want. So this would be the choice of the hardware that you are going for, that how much of hardware you want. So if I drop up here, so there's that T2.micro, which is free tier eligible. There's a T1.micro as well, that is also free tier eligible with 1 vCPU and 0.612 GB memory. T2.micro is 1 GB memory and 1 vCPU as well. Well, this is a free tier eligible, so obviously we're going to go for T2.micro. So your operating system is 2019 base and your instance type is T2.micro. If you go further down here, now keep here, it's asking here, why? Because it's going to create whatever amount of machines we want. Okay, there's a screenshot here in my AWS account is not authorized to choose an Amazon machine image. Guys, anyone else having an error like this? Launch template name, you're not authorized to perform this operation. Oh, template name. Okay. If I go back, yeah, I was just gonna go back and compare my selection as well. Where's the launch template name here? Yeah, it's a Amazon machine image. Oh, you went for this one. So don't go for source template. You need to skip that source template and you need to go for Amazon machine image. Yeah, it's AMI. Yeah, Dylan. So we're not supposed to use the source template. We're not supposed to do that. We need to just simply, so template tags, I did not make any change. Source template, I did not make any change. So we will leave this, we will skip these two options. We're going to go down to Amazon machine image and then instance type. Okay, so here, yeah, this is a selection that we did before as well, and for the load balancing lab, so that's the same selection, 2019 base NT2.micro. Once we have selected the AMI as Windows Server 2019 base and instance type as T2.micro, then we can go down here to the key pair. So we don't need to fill out key pair. First of all, in this lab, we're not going to be connecting to these machines, and obviously we're not going to be creating this many machines as well, but enough to know that auto scaling works. So the thing is that yes, you would create a key pair if you want to know the password of these machines to remotely connect. We're not going to be remotely connecting because we know how to remotely connect. We know how to use a key pair. We just need to know if auto scaling really works. So that's why we don't need to give a key pair here. So I'm just going to skip the key pair. I'm not giving the key pair here. And then I'm going down here to the network settings, which is about you want to create a VPC, which is virtual private cloud, or this is your working area in the public cloud. This is your private working area on the public cloud. This is like your LAN. So it's saying that, hey, you want to just, we can actually create 5 non-default VPCs, but this is the default VPC. Default VPC is our default working area that was assigned to us, where we can create virtual machines, storage, networking, whatever we want, right? So yes, it's going to be the VPC in which our machines will be created. So keep it selected. We're good. Security groups, again, we are trying to check if the underlying auto scaling feature works. We know already how to use a security group, and what is security group? It just allows and blocks different type of traffic like HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, 1433, right? So and from which IP you want, source and destination IPs can be controlled, as well as the type of network traffic you want to allow, inbound rules, outbound rules. So we know already that what is security group and how does it work. So we're not configuring security groups here as well. We're just seeing the underlying feature auto scaling, does it really work or not. So nothing configured in security group. If we go down to storage, so yes, one disk is good, and we don't need to increase or add more disks. So no change on security groups, no change on storage, no change on volume. I'm going to keep going down. Resource tags, this is just to add some information about department, or what type of machine is this, who does it belong to. Network interfaces, there are no network interfaces right now that have been configured. Again, obviously you would do all those kind of configurations if you are going to actually connect to any of those machines for long term, if you're creating those. Or long term doesn't mean that for months and years. It could be just for that Boxing Day weekend, or the whole week you want to have those machines created. And yes, you can just configure all these options of extra network cards as well. Now we don't need all this, and there's advanced details as well. So I'm going to expand that advanced details here, and it goes down to request spot instances. We talked about spot instances here. Oh, Dylan says, wait, sorry, so nothing for, so Dylan, we did not configure key pair. So guys, let me just go up there. I gave a name here for the machine. Then I selected provide guidance to help me set up a template. I did not do anything in the template tags and did not configure anything in the source template. Then AMI was configured with Windows 2019 base. Then instance type t2.micro was configured, yes. After that, nothing else changed. Key pair, no key pair. I did not make any change here. This option should stay as is, right? Okay. So no security group as well. Nothing configured there. No change in the storage, volume 1. No change in resource tags. Nothing in network interfaces. And I expanded advanced details, but I'm not planning to make any change here as well. But we should know what are the options here, right? So advanced details is actually, when you created the EC2 instances or virtual machines, so there were so many options. The wizard is so long to create one virtual machine, right? So all those options, any one of those options that you want to deploy for the template, because whatever you deploy here, these options will be there in all the clones, right? So that's why you need to be careful what options you're selecting here. Spot instances, no, we're not doing bidding. We're not using half the market price software, half priced hardware actually. Spot instances is for half priced hardware, but they can delete anytime your machines. So shutdown behavior, no. You want to actually, we can't change that. Cannot hibernate. You cannot do that. Termination protection. Do you want to protect it from termination? Obviously not in this one, because you want to have scale in feature. Scale in feature terminates your machines when your machine is not needed. When there is CPU, if you chose the CPU threshold and it goes down a certain level that you defined, then it's going to actually terminate your machine. So yes, we don't need termination protection. Unless you need it, you won't select it. We're not doing anything. Detailed CloudWatch monitoring. It's going to charge you, but it's going to give you monitoring when you're making millions of dollars in one Boxing Day, night, or Black Friday night. So obviously, you may want to monitor your machines. That if the machines, there are 100 machines, and out of that, 25 machines are actually frozen, and users have been disconnected, and you lost so many. One machine could take 2,000 users or 1,500 users easily. So you lost like thousands of users if 22 or 3 or 10 machines are frozen. So monitoring would be a very, very good idea, but they're gonna charge you for that. So other than that, GPU, if you are having some graphics intensive applications that are loaded there, or if it's cryptocurrency mining going on, that Bitcoin is crazily going up to 75,000 now. One Bitcoin, 75,000. If any one of you have been mining Bitcoins for last decade, you're my best friend from now on. Just kidding. Okay, so here, don't include in launch template the GPU, but you can include GPU there as well. Elastic interface and inference. Did I say interface? Inference, and it's just that you need more of CPU, more of RAM, more of bandwidth. You can have it if you select this option. They're going to charge you a little higher. Actually, we talked about all these features when we were creating a virtual machine. So I don't know why I'm just showing you credit specification, placement group if you want to make the machines redundant within a region. EBS, which is just EBS means elastic block storage, which means the virtual disk. Virtual disk is called EBS. Capacity reservation, tenancy. So these are all those options that we have talked about before as well. Other than that, there's metadata option there as well. So we don't need all of these advanced options as well. We kept this template to minimum because we want to understand how auto scaling really works. Then yes, once you know how auto scaling really works, what are the controls to configure, then yes, you can go ahead and come back here and just configure further more options there to check what's going on. So what we can do now is, and I'm gonna go way down here to create launch template, right? So whatever we selected up there, I'm gonna click that create launch template, and if you see successfully created, then that's your screenshot number 2. If you see here successfully created, that's your screenshot number 2. So screenshot 2, launch template, successfully created. Screenshot 2 name would be launch template, successfully created. Okay, obviously make sure that your name on the top right is showing. Launch template successfully created. Launch template ID is also showing there. And I'll go for screenshot 2, launch template successfully created. Screenshot 2, launch template successfully created. Oops, okay, there's that error coming there. Let's check it out. Okay guys, anyone else had that? You are not authorized to perform this operation, coded authorization failure message. The ID, well, that's a pretty long ID. Are you kidding? Oh, actions log, so that's not giving a lot of details here. Anyone else got it? Hopefully you did not select any other option that I did not select. You're not authorized to perform. Well, it doesn't say anything else other than you're not authorized. Yeah, in case you want to look it up in the logs. Oh, that was the log information, because that's just code. Well, that's what the text in the screenshot. Okay, yeah, it was yeah, not much. Like there is nothing in English, so well, I can just you can just create. Paul, you can cancel out. Well, maybe there's no other choice but to. Oh, there's an edit button there as well, right? So you can just click the edit button there, and I can show you the whole configuration of mine, and you can just compare what options I have selected. If it, oh, okay, I went back and it actually, oh, there's my template. So I'll just, oh, no one else had any issue. Okay, launch, modify template, create new version. Oh, okay, it's gonna actually make me create a new version. So Paul, if you're editing, I have can you just write what setting you change from default in the OneNote document? Oh, you want me to write that? Man, I was showing that like so slow. Okay, I didn't write that, but yeah, I can arrange that. AMI instance type. Actually, I did 3 only, right? So okay, yeah. I was just afraid that if it's a pretty long one, then half time I will spend doing this. Yeah, it's a small one. So the configurations changed are the name, right? So the name and description. Sometimes it does not let you go ahead if you don't put the description. I'm sure you did, but I'm just saying that. Okay, let me just go ahead and okay, there are some other comments there. Did you sign out and back in after he changed the settings? Yeah, I gave some extra privileges there and I asked everyone to sign out, sign in, so the authorization would be implemented on your accounts. I hope you did. Did we change the instance type? Okay, let me just put out everything quickly. So there's a name given here and provide guidance that needs to be selected, and provide guidance, and then there is AMI required. So AMI was there, instance type yes, t2.micro. t2.micro was changed. So instance type is t2.micro. So that's it. So AMI and instance type. AMI is Windows 2019. Instance type is t2.micro. So AMI Windows 2019. Instance type t2.micro. Okay, what else? That's it. Then keep it on VPC option. That's the only other thing that is selected by default. We didn't make any change. Let me show you. Other than that, no keep here, no network settings, just the VPC there. Okay, logging out and logging in. It will not let me choose instance type. Oh, okay. So instance type is not letting you choose. Okay. So hopefully, yeah, after sign out, sign in, you'll be able to choose that. Well, nothing else was changed. So t2.micro, hopefully that resolves it. I'll cancel out from here. And my template is intact right now, and launch template. So everyone's template is there. Yeah. Okay. Good. Are these 20 templates? Doesn't look like so. Anyway, I will count it later. Hopefully it was fixed. And okay. While you're doing that, let me just write something more here. So after this, you used I to write your first name. Okay, Amir. So yeah, after 2 weeks, I forgot to change it to E. So now don't sue me for that. I was just afraid that it's. Yeah, I was treating it as proprietary. Same problem. I even tried another browser. Oh, okay. Paul says same problem for. Let me just check it out. What the problem is? An error occurred loading the data. Please refresh to try again. Oh, it doesn't say. That's weird. Compare instance types. Yeah, it does not launch instance types. Wow. Paul, do you get any not authorized error anywhere else? So it should tell EC2 authorization is needed, or any indication that where should I go. So otherwise, if this error is stubborn and we're not able to t-shoot that, relax for next years. I relax for next years. Hey Amir, come on. Now I'm changing it to ER. So Dong says, did you add him to the group? He got authorization error before. Yeah, he did got authorization error before. So let me check it out. I'll just give him direct access, direct rights as well. Quickly. Go. He should be in the group, but let me just quickly double check. No queues to troubleshoot further. Okay, no problem. Let me just quickly check. Are you in the group or not? You should be, because Amazon EC2 access is there. Users, Paul. Do you see his name? Paul, do you see your name? I don't see your name. No, you're not in the group. How come you're... Really? How come? Paul. Okay, Paul, sign out, sign in, and then come back. Wow. When did this happen? Well, there are so many questions here that how you can use this EC2 dashboard without being in the group. So this means that you had direct permissions as well. So yeah, sign out, sign in. This was it. Dong, you got it. Dong. Paul 443. Who did I add here? Oh yeah. 1012434443. Yeah. So Paul, just sign out, sign in. You should be okay now. And Dong, you troubleshooted that, so you're the chief guest today. Anything Dong says, we will have to do today. He's the chief guest. He troubleshooted, right? So except for that, class should finish. Except for this, anything else? Okay. Let's go ahead. And well, Paul, is it okay? Are you signed in, signed out? And while you're trying, I'll just write it down until we're good. So the configurations changed are this. Okay, now we go to the auto scale for, so within the EC2 dashboard, right? Now we go to the auto scale within the EC2 dashboard. Oh, it works now. Okay, so Dylan, you're, and whoever else said that, hey, add him to the group. So yeah, weird things happen as well in AWS. I'm actually blaming AWS, but obviously I should have double checked again that I'm sure I added everyone to the group. Anyway, guys, so we're gonna go for so this is an EC2 dashboard, and we created a launch template, right? So now we can go down to way down within the EC2 dashboard at the bottom of the EC2 dashboard, and you can see auto scaling groups here. There's a launch configurations under the auto scaling and section, and there's a auto scaling groups as well. So if we go for auto scaling groups, so there's only one here. Now what is auto scaling groups? First of all, auto scaling groups are collections of Amazon EC2 instances that enable automatic scaling and fleet management features. These features help you maintain the health and availability of your application. So well, what we were saying is that you can make groups of machines, and with auto scaling they're gonna increase in numbers, right? So scale out as needed. Desired capacity is this minimum size. Now this diagram really explains it very good. You can have a minimum number of machines. You can have a desired capacity that, okay, I really want 2 machines to always be there, and that's what we're going to target. And scale out as needed. If I need more, then please scale out. And then there is maximum size that okay, go up to, well, 100 machines, go up to 10 machines, go up to 5 machines. So whichever option you need, right? So auto scaling groups is this information. So Amazon EC2 auto scaling helps maintain the availability of your applications. Pretty much that is it. Let me just auto scaling group. What is auto scaling group? I'll just put it here as well, and let's create an auto scaling group. So what is an auto scaling group? Okay, let's go ahead and do it. So I'm going to click that create auto scaling group. I'm sure you're all in North Virginia, right? Okay, So once we click the create auto scaling group, then you see this. So choose launch template or configuration. Oh yeah, okay, you all have selected that and you're seeing this here, which is good, right? So well, I was going to cancel out and show you outside that what is launch configuration, but it also shows here as well, launch configuration. So there are two ways to provide a template machine to auto scaling group here, and either you have created a template before, which we did, or you could have come here and launch configuration, which is also another way to create a template for large scale creation of clones. So launch configuration just have more extra features than the creating a template only. Launch scale just lets you do a lot of other inside the template. You can add much more options there. So but we created a template, and then we're here to use that template with auto scaling group. So first of all, auto scaling group name is what? You guessed it. So your first name dash I'm going for E now. So anyway, auto scaling group, right? So that would be your first name, auto scaling group, right? And the template that we launched, the template that we need to launch, well, or attach, is what we have already created. Okay, what's going on? How did you get to this page? So there are two armor launch templates. Oh man, really? Okay. How did you get to this page? Hamid is asking. I'll cancel out. Hamid, see this? If you're on the EC2 dashboard, then go down, 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 and down, and you see this, the last one at the bottom, auto scaling groups. Hopefully you're there. And I'm gonna click auto scaling group. Others are already there, and then I'm gonna click again, create auto scaling group. So I'll click this one, create auto scaling group. Okay, so then yeah, as we went for the first name, auto scaling group. And when we go down here, so we should see our template. Hey, how come it let me make that template name with IR when there are two? How can there be two? Oh, then this means it didn't let you create, or you did not create. Oh, you did create. How's it different? Anyway, it's not different. Okay, so I'm gonna select. I think this was mine. You have capital L, I have small l. That's the only difference. Last one is for you. Did I put a capital L? So anyway, I'm just gonna go for capital L now. And okay. So okay, guys. Once you create the once you select your created template, then it goes down here and shows you and make sure obviously you're selecting your template, your name template, and version, description, AMI ID. So this is a whole information of the template that you've selected, t2.micro, and no security group, and no keep here, right? So till now what we did, we just selected, we gave a name, we selected the template, and now we're going to go next. Let's click next. And once you're here, so instance purchase options, ouch, okay. So configure the settings below. Depending on whether you choose a launch template, these settings may include options to help you make optimal use of EC2 resources, okay. And use the launch template to create a uniform configuration among all of the instances in the group, or define options to accommodate a wide variety of requirements such as launching spot and on-demand instances. So anyway, adhere to launch template. So it's just saying that, hey, you want to go for some other instance whose clones you want to create? No, we want to stick to our launch template. So yes, we want clones to be created out of the template that we created. So we're going to keep this option here. And if we go further down here, obviously we want our template clones to be created in the default VPC in which we are working right now. So no change in this section as well, except for if it lets us go ahead without choosing a subnet. Actually, you know what? Let's just drop up and choose any subnet. Normally what it does is, if you don't choose any subnet here, now there are 6 subnets here, which are actually 6 availability zones. They're not just some small subnet, they are huge availability zones. One availability zone can have 2 to 8 data centers. One data center can have 100,000 up to 300,000 physical servers, right? So this is one availability zone. So I'm going to select 1A. It's not compulsory, it could be 1B, C, D, whichever. Just for organization purpose, I'm going for 1A. And so this means that all my clones should be created in 1A, or if I want to spread it across other availability zones, I can just create and choose one more subnet. But I'll just stick with 1 because we need to know how auto scaling really works, right? So we select this and click next, right? Okay, so here it's asking for load balancer. Now our example here was about a website to which there are thousands of users connecting, and because they're all busy, the CPU goes up because we're going to be choosing actually CPU as a threshold. Otherwise there are other thresholds as well, which we will see now. But yes, if this was the setup, then obviously you would go for load balancing. Now load balancing we have already done in previous class, so you know how load balancing really works. But load balancing works with AWS auto scaling. So auto scaling is what we are here to check. So we're just gonna go for no load balancing for now. Health checks are useful when you have load balancer there, because health check obviously checks the health of all the machines that are in there behind the load balancer. If any machine is down, health check will tell the load balancer not to send the traffic to the downed machine, otherwise users will get error messages because they're being redirected to a machine that does not exist. So health check is good when load balancer is selected. We didn't select load balancer, so we're not selecting the health check as well. Also, one more thing is when okay, there are 300 seconds here, right? So when a clone is created, suppose the 75% breach happened and the clone got created. Now they're saying that, hey, give it some time to start, right? So there's 300 seconds time that is given to it to fully load, fully start there, and then the traffic is, which is all overwhelmingly here on this machine, is redirected after 300 seconds to the next available machine. So I'll tab if I go back. So the default option is okay. Load balancer, no load balancer, nothing to change here in health check. Additional settings, monitoring. Well, it's talking about enable group metrics collection with CloudWatch. Obviously, CloudWatch is not free. They're gonna charge for that, so we don't need to enable that. So no change on this page. Configure advanced options. No change on this page, and we click next. Okay, that's the action page, and set the desired minimum and maximum capacity of your auto scaling group. You can optionally add a scaling policy to dynamically scale the number of instances in the group. So specify the size of the auto scaling group by changing the desired capacity. You can also specify minimum and maximum capacity limits. Your desired capacity must be within the limit range. Okay, can you go back previous? This is the page, and no change on this page, for your information. No change on this page. Okay, so I'll go to the next page. So now guys, here desired capacity. So this is the most important area of auto scaling, obviously. Desired capacity, how many machines at all times you want. So we're gonna stick to one machine, minimum one machine we want all times. So what happens here is the desired capacity and minimum capacity both are exactly the same when we configure, or minimum capacity also we can configure differently. But what happens is that suppose you say our desired capacity is 3 machines, desired capacity. So what happens is that suppose you deleted one machine here out of 3. When it sees and checks that, oh, our desired capacity is supposed to be 3, so it automatically creates that machine again. You delete that machine again, it creates that machine again. So it needs to keep this count always there. So that's why you will not have machines less than the desired capacity. Minimum capacity obviously would pretty much be the same, and the thing is that desired capacity could be also, I'm going to change it, but I'm going to come back to 1. I'm just giving as an example that desired capacity could be 4 and minimum could be 1 as well. But you can't have 4 here and 1 here. Well, it's going to give you error later. So the thing is that minimum capacity is that at least this many machines must be there even if desired capacity is not met. Suppose I go for 4 as a desired capacity, but minimum this must be there. So if somebody deletes that number, 1 machine as well, so please recreate it again and try to go to the desired capacity. Sometimes there is there could be no underlying hardware may have some issue or some issue from their side, then and they cannot reach the desired capacity minimum, they will keep that much capacity. When it goes to maximum capacity, so in other wherever else I teach, so there we go for 10, but here there normally there are like 8 or 9 students there, or and they're all companies administrators there. They're already, they attach their credit cards and then at their own risk they do that. So here we're gonna keep it 2. So what we're doing is that and I would suggest that please keep it 2 because we don't want to run out of we don't want them to start charging us as well, and so that's why I'm going to go for 2. What we're expecting here, we want a proof that auto scaling works. How? We're going to keep going down and we're going to actually tell it that the CPU scale, we're going to put some scale there which I'm going to tell you at that time, but we want to see that minimum it's going to right away create 1 machine, right? And then after some time we are expecting a second machine to be created because we're gonna make sure that the threshold is breached somehow. We're not and we're not going to give 75% of the threshold. Let me explain that too. The machine that we are creating right now, obviously if we put 75% threshold, we have to do some kind of effort there. We have to run so many applications, or we have to look for some script that makes the processor busy, and that could take time, the steps to do that. So we're not going to put 75% for our machine. We need to have the CPU capacity breached right away. How can we do that? We're going to put ours as 10%. Why are we going to put it as 10%? As soon the Windows 10, when it starts, Windows not 10, seriously, 2019, when it starts, it definitely needs more than 10% CPU to start and stay started, right? So we want it to breach the that threshold, so it could create another machine right away. So for that, we're just gonna keep our threshold so low that we know that it's gonna get breached just by starting and if it creates a new machine, this means auto scaling works fine, right? So that's our plan. But suppose you wanna play with this later, like not later, like play this, like you can have your own 1-year AWS account, and then you can put the threshold like this, then you can use some script or just start 50 YouTube pages, whatever. So anyway, we're gonna keep the threshold so low that we're sure that it's gonna breach that, and if it breaches, it better create a second. It better create a second machine here. If it creates a second machine, that's what we need to know, that auto scaling really works. That's the proof. Okay, so maximum capacity is 2. In a big company, they would go for maybe 200 because they're expecting maybe 1 million customers. Suppose it's like that. So whatever their anticipation is, they would just put that kind of amount here. And we all know what is the maximum. Maximum within one region, within one subscription is 100,000. Please do not write 100,000 here. Okay, so scaling policies here. Scaling policies, choose whether to use a scaling policy to dynamically resize your auto scaling group to meet changes in demand. It says none. Target tracking scaling policy. Choose a desired outcome and leave it to the scaling policy to add and remove capacity as needed to. So I'm going to select this scaling policy now. So we could just discuss some of the options there, right? Okay, target tracking scaling policy. So first is scaling policy name, target tracking policy. But what does it really contain? Well, it contains what we really need. So first of all, in this scaling policy name, we're gonna add obviously our name, your first name dash target tracking policy, and that's where we need to put that threshold. And as I was saying, that it's not just CPU is there as a threshold, there are other types of thresholds here as well. CPU is the most common one, but there are other types. Average network in bytes, and that is so inbound traffic, how much average inbound traffic is going, and then you can put a value there as well. And if it breaches that value, if the bandwidth is or the traffic is more than that value, then it's going to create another machine. It's outbound traffic, so how much outbound bytes are going. Application load balancer request count per target, so how many the application load balancer received how many requests there. So you can just put that in thousands or hundreds, and if it gets breached, another machine gets created. So that's the same logic for all of the types of thresholds as well. We're going to stick to CPU utilization. Target value is 50, but I think Windows 2019 starting will not be breached with 50% of CPU utilization, so we're going to go for 10. So we could get to see the creation of another machine faster, right? Okay, so target value is 10% CPU utilization. If it's 10%, please create it right away. That's what we're expecting, but good luck. Like for some students, it gets created after some time. For others, in previous class, one student had to go down to target value of 5%, and then he waited, and then the second machine got created. And for some students, it just created right away, like after, soon enough, it created the second machine. So we understand that target value is this, and instance need 300 seconds warm up before including in metric. So this is what I was talking about, that hey, the health service, please don't start collecting health information or start monitoring the machine right away. If just wait for 300 seconds, right? So you can enable that if you want. Actually, this is not even written here, but you can just put any information you want there. So the health service. Now suppose you don't put any information here, so while the machine is starting and monitoring also starts, so monitoring will see that hey, I cannot access the machine. Obviously it just got created and it's starting, so there will be no successful pings there. So that's why if you put a okay, we'll just put 300. Let's go ahead and put 300 seconds. So health or monitoring service are not supposed to send RU live packets before 300 seconds have passed, right? Okay, so what is this? Disable scale in to create only a scale out policy. Now, what does that mean? you're saying I do not want to scale in, which means obviously that if my machines keeps on getting created, yeah, that's okay, but I don't want them deleted even if all the customers are gone. I want those machines there. If you disable scale in, your machines will stay there created. They will just stay there. And you will be charged per hour, whatever charges are for using the underlying hardware. So obviously this may not be a good idea to disable it unless the business wants the machines to be there, because maybe, customers are gone. Suppose, as we were giving the example, that 12 a.m. midnight till 1 or 2 o'clock, 2 a.m. they were there, and then they were less, and then they came back again. So the machines had to be created again. The only problem with that is, suppose the users came back again in huge numbers, and the machine may take 300 seconds to get created and be fully available for the users. Users normally do not wait more than few seconds. Well, many users are like that. Okay, page is loading, loading, loading. Oh, come on, man. It's been like, what, 20 seconds? I'm not waiting that long. Okay, I'll go to, I'm not coming here to Best Buy. I'm going to Canada Computers. Okay, what's the deal there? Well, if it's a good deal, we will wait. Anyway, the thing is that they have done the research, and they saw that if the page is loading a few seconds, it's taking a few seconds more to load, then they lose a certain amount of customers because of just the wait time. So anyway, the thing is that you want to keep your machines there when the customers arrive. Well, we're talking thousands or millions of customers. Instant scale in protection. Scale in protection. Enable scale in protection is the same as the above option, disable scale in. So scale in protection means please protect me from scale in. Please protect me from my machine getting deleted. So that's what it's saying. So we're not gonna select both of these options. But if we go up here, so group size and scaling policies, right? Up till here. So let's take a third screenshot here, and that is, the name of the third screenshot is scaling policies, and it should be 112. So third screenshot is scaling policies, should be 112. Okay, so I'll just go for third screenshot, scaling policies. Make sure your name on the top right and the region is showing. Name is scaling policies, screenshot 3, scaling policies. Okay. COMP3108, screenshot 3, scaling policies. Okay. So I'll go back. So desired capacity, minimum capacity, maximum capacity, yeah. And then we went for 10% CPU utilization as well, right? Okay. Now we need to click next if these changes are done. CPU utilization is 10 or 5, whichever. So I click the next. So they're saying that, hey, you want to add notifications here. Notifications are good. If we're not going to add it here, but obviously they're good because you may know, suppose you said that, hey, auto scale, please create 100 virtual machines maximum, and some of the machines did not start for some reason, some of the machines froze for some reason, so you should be notified of, hey, this is happening to your machines and there are still customers increasing, so you get notified for what's happening. Or the customers decreased and your machines, this many 50% of the machines are deleted already, so you should be notified of that. Then you would come and check. So SNS is another service which is simple notification service. This is a separate small paid service that so you can actually in few cents you can send 50 SMSs or something like that. Well, when we separately discuss that, so and you can send 1,000 emails in, or notification emails in few cents as well. So anyway, we're going to click next here without configuring anything in add notifications. We're going to click next. So nothing in tags. Let's click next here as well. Nothing in tags. And that's our review. Okay. That's a full review page. Okay, so let's go ahead and hopefully we're all okay now. Create auto scaling group. Let's click this, create auto scaling group. Ooh. Whoa. Okay, few of us have created that, but obviously max is 2, 1. So guys, when the auto scaling group, let me refresh this page. Oh, what happened? Just a few. Why? Auto scaling groups was 17. Oh, maybe that's the page 2 I need to go. There it is. Okay, that's page 2. So in fact my name would be there. So you need to click on top of that, right? So I'm going to click on top of my auto scaling group and I go inside. That's the first thing. Second thing is I need to just check instance management. Once I click my auto scaling group, I need to check instance management, and I see one instance already created there. And what I need to do is click refresh here. You know, we're supposed to take a screenshot where one instance is showing, then we're supposed to take a screenshot when the second instance finally appears. So screenshot number 4 is auto scale instance created, one auto scale instance created. Screenshot number 4, one auto scale instance created. Screenshot 4 with this page, one auto scale instance created. Screenshot 4, one auto scale instance created. Screenshot 4, one auto scale instance created, auto scaling, scale. Okay, if anyone got second one, then that's a screenshot number 5. Auto scaling works would be the name of that in screenshot if anyone got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click refresh here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's instance number will show 1 here, but if we refresh now, if we are already all doing this, obviously it might take some time. And there is automatic scaling on the left side. While it is still taking its time, I'm going to go for automatic scaling. That's the other option here, automatic scaling. And here are the scaling policies, right? So 300 seconds to warm up before including in metric. Yeah. So other than that, there is activity. So no notification, and history is one machine got created successfully. Okay. if I go to the other side, instance refresh, so start instance refresh, normally actually instance refresh would be that instance refresh allows you to trigger a rolling replacement of instances in the auto scaling group with a new group of instances. After you create an instance refresh, you can view its status here. The following are the status codes: pending, in progress, successful, failed, canceling. So, well, we don't need to create instance refresh. It actually creates a new group of instances. But the normal refresh, I'm just going to go to instance management here, and it's still saying instance 1, and it stays 1. It looks like everyone else is 1 as well. I think that if I go to details, so desired capacity is 1, minimum capacity is 1, maximum capacity is 2 if it goes ahead.
Excuse me, sir. When the second one shows up, can we take the next screenshot? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be the next screenshot if it shows. But I wanted to make sure, Amir says here, I wanted to make sure desired equals 1 means that we always have at least 1 machine, am I right? The minimum 1 actually means that, what you're saying and what I also mentioned. And desired could be, desired normally, obviously, as the name says, is what we want there always, or what we want to reach up to. It can mean that too. So if we are saying that we want to reach up to 1, so then it would try its best to stay as that, and we can change that desired capacity to 2 as well if I click the edit button. So if you see, guys, here details, although if anyone got the second machine refresh because it's supposed to automatically get created. If no one got it, then yes, we can change the desired capacity, because that would be then letting us easily create this, or it would let us easily reach there. I'm going to click yes. Oh, Brady got second machine without. Brady did not change the desired capacity yet, right? So no change on this page, right? Okay, Harshan got it too. Minsyu also got it. Now it's up, the second one, you're saying? Well, by this time, this means I should have gotten 2 if I go to instance management. Oh, there you go. I got it too. Well, we put the threshold so low that, yeah, it should trigger that. And normally, yeah, desired capacity is that we want to keep with that much machines, right? We want to stay on that level, but suppose there's too much traffic, right? So it's going to go to reach till maximum. But desired capacity would be, you can say, preferred, that if the traffic is a bit not extreme, then keep it to desired capacity. So guys, if you see this instances 2 and you see 2 instances, this means auto scaling works. First of all, if we had put maximum as 10, it would have gone to 10 as well, because the 10% threshold can easily be breached by Windows Server 2019 starting. But obviously we need a screenshot of 2 instances here, right? Okay, Yusuf also got it. So guys, if you got 2, take a screenshot and say auto scaling works. So screenshot number 5, auto scaling works. Screenshot number 5, auto scaling works. So yeah, it goes up to whatever number you put there. As long as the threshold keeps breaching, it keeps on increasing. It goes really like a wildfire. Okay, so screenshot number 5, auto scaling works. So this, oh, not this screenshot, the full screenshot with your name and region. So screenshot number 5, auto scaling works. Screenshot 5, auto scaling works. we already created 40 machines there. Oh, I need to put here screen shot 5 auto scale. Okay. So, well, these are all the things that we can do with auto scaling. It's after doing this, then yeah, you can just add whatever you want, extra options that you can play with. But basically, if you know that how to make auto scaling work, then after that it's all not that difficult. So guys, once the screenshots have been taken by everyone, then we need to delete auto scaling as well, right? So and the good thing is that suppose within your auto scaling group, if you had put maximum as 100 and 100 machines suppose are reached, created, and they're working, but you want to get rid of the whole 100 machines, if you delete the auto scaling group, it's gonna delete everything inside 100,000, whatever. You delete the auto scaling group, anything attached to this gets deleted as well. So you don't have to go one by one to the machines or separate areas for this and that. Yeah, you do have to delete the template separately. You do have to delete the auto scaling group separately. Template option is a separate option. This is a separate option. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to auto scaling groups here, this one. And yeah, everyone's auto scaling group with 2. Okay, that's very good. It worked for everyone, really. If I go to the other side, the next page, yeah, it worked for everyone. AWS is no doubt it's on the top. It's still the top cloud because everything works smoothly, right? So I'm gonna go for please everyone go to your auto scaling group, and then you need to delete it. So all you need to do is select. I'm just gonna go to, I think mine is on second page. Yeah, this is mine. So I'm gonna select like this. Oops. What happened? I was selecting and I went to Jacob's machine. I think everyone has already deleted, so that's good. Oh, I'm in mine. So mine is on second page. I'll try again. Select. Really, it's playing tricks on me. So I select mine, but I think everyone is deleting, so that's why it's just showing me like this. So well, I'm inside now, and I'll just delete it from here. Just go inside and delete. How come? Okay, I'll just select the machines. Well, this is not a very fast way. You gotta scroll after you select. Really? Okay. So guys, go ahead and delete. I'm gonna refresh that. I think many of you may have deleted it. Oh, none of you. Well, yeah, some of you have deleted it already. Deleting, okay. So mine is on the second page. Hey, did I select anything else? No. I'm just selecting on top of this, and then I gotta scroll. Oh, thank you. Sometimes the basic navigation is, tricky for me. Thank you, Dylan. Delete, and then type the word delete, right? Select delete and type the word delete and go ahead and delete. Okay, so guys, go ahead and delete, so we could then go to some other portions as well. And Okay, on this page, pretty much all are done. The first page, some of us are still not initiated the delete. Okay. So guys, this is obviously going to be, you can just repeat it anytime you want. Well, on your own AWS with your credit card, you can just. Alright guys, while this is done, now we need to go for EC2 dashboard. Some of the features, smaller features are here as well that we need to check out. So on the left side, well, we have launch templates that we also created, right? So we don't need that too. Could you show one more time, please? One more time, what, to delete? Yeah, you select. So see this, you select here, scroll up or down just to check that, and there's a delete button here on the right side. Okay, then no, just refresh. Keep refreshing. If you successfully did that delete, then keep refreshing. Otherwise, just select it again and delete. Well, there's so much requests going on from here that it might be playing tricks on us, and refresh the whole browser, then come back here. Just select and delete. That's the only thing we need to do. But if it's not showing you this, just keep refreshing your page, and it should. I only see 2 left. Oh. I only see 1. And it's Hamid's. Okay, Hamid, let me delete that. Why is it here? Strange. Why? Okay, it's deleting now. Well, why change? Okay, so, well, it's gonna be gone as well. Don't worry. So, we're good. We're done, right? Okay, let's go ahead and on the left side, there's the EC2 dashboard here. And we want to go for the instances. Like we've created instances, we know how to create instances now. Then there's instance types here as well. That if I click the instance types on the left side, these are all the types of instances that's gonna load here one day, Monday or Sunday or today. Really? Oh, there you go. So and types of instances just means that what kind of hardware you need, right? So not much here. We already talked about that, and they just gave different names: T3 medium, X large, A1.X large. All it changes is the type of hardware, and they gave it some different names there, right? Other than that, you go down to launch templates. We checked already this one. So yes, we need to go to the launch template and delete this one as well. So everyone sees their own launch template, right? So I'm going to go to mine and I'm going to delete that, right? That's the easiest one. Like it goes really smooth. Okay, which one was mine? I think the capital L one. I'm going to select my launch template, and I'm going to select delete for this one as well. So select this one and go to actions, and there's a delete template here as well. So I'm just going to click delete template here as well, right? Okay, and then it says delete delete and refresh. I think mine is gone already. Refresh. Okay, 4 left. Oh, 6 or 7 left actually. So yeah, it's also pretty straightforward. Just go ahead and delete that too. Now, while this is deleted, then launch template we already talked about, but then there is a spot requests here under the launch template, right? Spot requests. So here, with the spot requests, we already talked about that. That the spot requests are for less than the market price hardware. Hardware usage. So if you have certain number of machines that you want to run some application and get some results, and those reports that you get from application will really earn you a lot of dollars there. So you want to run applications on the machines, and but you want to run them under half the market price, right? So that's where the spot instances come. I'll just put that here as well. Aws EC2 Spot Instances, right? Save up to 90%. So that's what it does. Amazon EC2 Spot Instances let you take advantage of unused EC2 capacity. That's the main thing. So there are thousands and thousands and thousands of servers are not always really hosting applications. Maybe they are sitting there doing nothing and consuming all the electricity of AWS. So then they say that, hey, whatever our unused physical servers there are, you can, yes, Kingsley, delete the launch template as well. Go ahead and delete the launch template. Okay, so unused EC2 capacity in the AWS cloud. So spot instances are available up to a 90% discount compared to on-demand prices. You can use spot instances for various stateless, fault-tolerant, or flexible applications such as big data, containerized workloads, CI/CD, continuous implementation, continuous deployment, web servers, high-performance computing, HPC, and test and deployment development workloads. Because Spot instances are tightly integrated with AWS services such as Auto Scaling, EMR, ECS, and CloudFormation, Data Pipeline, and AWS Batch. You can choose how to launch and maintain your applications running on Spot. So the main thing here is that they let you run on 90% discount, up to 90% discount, because much of their hardware which is not being used should still earn them something, right? So something is better than nothing. Instead of the hardware just running, why don't we just offer some of it at much lower price, right? So that's just the build, main concept there. Low predictable prices, the Spot instances, massive scale, easy to use. So Spot offers the advantages of the massive operating scale of AWS. You can run hyperscale workloads at a significant cost savings, or you can accelerate your workloads by running parallel tasks. So that's what it's all about. But the thing is that they can replace your workload with somebody else's workload if somebody else is giving better prices there. So the thing is that auto scaling is also used here, but spot instances is all about you are given unused EC2 capacity of AWS, and then if somebody else has given a better price, then they can delete your machines as well. They can replace your machines with their machines. That's what they are saying there. Okay, so other than that, if we go ahead with so spot instances, if I go inside the spot instance, I'm going to click that request spot instances here, and then there's load balancing workloads. So it's just a form that we're not going to actually go till the end and actually get that spot instance. We're just checking all the features there. load balancing workload. So whatever type of workload you have there, you can just simply you can just add it there, right? Select that. So configure your instances, launch template. Maybe you have a template, you can launch from there, or you have ready-made images, AMI. You can just select that, and then there is as an instance type, what instance you want. You want a very large instance, large or extra large, or 2 vCPUs and 3 GB RAM. That's not very large, but it has a lot of disks here. Anyway, and which VPC or which network you want to use, and availability zones. So these are typical EC2 choices that you always make when you're creating an EC2 instance. Or total target capacity is how many instances will be there, and you already chosen the hardware up there, and fleet request. So these are just the charges which are, as they say, 90% discount. Up to 90% discount can also be attained from spot instances, right? And they just go down your fleet request at a glance. 1 instances, custom 2 vCPUs, 3 GB RAM, and among 6 availability zones. Fleet strength is 36 instance pools. They can just create 36 instances for you if needed. If you want that, at target capacity of 31 cents per hour, 74% saving. So, well, that's overall spot instances, how they look like. We're not obviously going to create that because it just gets created like a virtual machine. It's all about the cost, right? They're just running on cheaper price and unused hardware. Oh, Dylan says, can you go over? Okay, there you go. So, well, we're gonna cancel it, so you don't have to come here. I'm gonna cancel it. So we were in spot request, but we wanted to just know that what our features are offered there, and what is the purpose of spot requests. Then there is that saving plans here, which is just like other saving plans in Rogers and Bell. You commit with us for 2 years, and we're going to give you a very less price, right? So this is also what they're saying, that if you go or commit for up to 3 years, saving plans price for your usage up to your commitment. So whatever commitment you want to go, and it says here for 1 or 3 year term. So when you go for that, then they just shows they just give you better pricing if you're committing for 2 years. So that could be any other marketing strategy that you see anywhere else. So that's the same thing here. Other than that, but there are so many types of, or so many payment plans there, right? That's what we need to know, that we can go cheap on these. We can be offered much lesser price as well. So that's what we are trying to know here. Reserved instances. If you go for reserved instances there, so that's if we go to info, and it says here the reserved instances page lists all of your reserved instances in the currently selected AWS region. When do you reserve? You can change which columns are visible in the table, choose the settings icon, and blah blah blah. You can perform various actions on the reserved instances. Select reserved instances. Seriously, are you kidding me? Let me just okay, there is some information here as well. Normally, the word says reserved, right? So it's on demand. Reserved instances provide you with significant savings on your Amazon EC2 cost compared to on-demand instance pricing. Reserved instances are not physical instances, but rather a billing discount applied to the use of on-demand instances on your account. These on-demand instances must match certain attributes such as instance type and region in order to benefit from the billing discount. So suppose you're saying that hey, AWS, I want an instance, I want my 3 or 4 instances to be suppose I want my 3 instances to be available 24/7 365 for 3 years or 2 years or 6 months even, and but I want always, all the time, the RAM to be, suppose, 64 GB RAM, and the processor to be always 3.5 gigahertz. You're asking for too much now. And times 3, so 3.5 gigahertz, and then I want 10 TB, 10 terabyte SSD, and that is also times 7, suppose, so whatever your demand is. So I want all three machines to have this kind of hardware reserved for them, which means that you can, if the AWS says yes, we accept that, we are going to offer you this reservation of the hardware. So this means that we are obliged to provide this as an SLA, service level agreement. We are going to provide this 24/7, 365 for next whatever number of months or years you chose. If AWS is not able to provide for certain time this much of capacity, hardware capacity, they will have to reimburse some of the amount, maybe 10% up to 25 to 30%, because they were not able to meet the SLA, which is that they need to, if the clients reserved the hardware, AWS is supposed to provide this hardware 24/7, 365. If they can't, they will reimburse some of the cost, some of the charges. So that's the main idea behind this. And I'll just put that reserved instances plan here. Okay. Uh, if we go ahead, so there's dedicated hosts, and that just by name, we could just understand that you're going for underlying dedicated hosts there. Amazon EC2 can now allocate and manage dedicated hosts on your behalf to simplify the management experience. The simplified management experience includes the ability to launch different instance sizes on a host, share host across accounts, automatically recover hosts, and more. So what it says is, I'm going to click learn more here as well to show you if they've shown diagrams there. A dedicated host is a physical server, first of all, with EC2 instance capacity fully dedicated to your use. So the first best thing is that, well, what really happens is now we all create machines, right, in auto scaling. So underlying hardware would have let our machines be put here, and then some other subscription, some other companies' machines are also sharing that same hardware with us, and some other company, and some other company, right? So normally that's what happens here when you have underlying hardware being shared, right? But instead of that, you get a dedicated physical server, and only your subscription machines, virtual machines, or EC2 instances are put in one hardware. So it will always be, this hardware will be dedicated for your subscription machines, right? That's pretty much the idea behind it. And obviously they're going to charge you for that more. And a host resource group is collection of dedicated hosts that you can manage as a single entity. So yeah, you can even have, well, not just one physical server with a lot of RAM, CPU, and disk, but you can have a group of physical servers that are just dedicated for your subscription. And you just get to pay whatever the cost. Obviously, for companies which are earning millions and millions of dollars per month, so for them it would be peanuts. They would really want to. Now, why would they want to go for this? There are some software that needs to detect the underlying hardware. Suppose for VMware, there's their central application, enterprise grade application called vCenter. vCenter needs to detect underlying physical processor socket for the licenses to be activated. So in that case, if you're not having your own data center and you want that application to work, then you have to then have this kind of dedicated host for you. So you could install that application that could reach or detect the processor socket, how many sockets are there, and then it would activate your licenses. So some applications do require that, or you just want for pure performance a dedicated host. So the dedicated host, well, by the name, you would just understand that what are we talking about. And if now, other than that, what are the types of instances there? Scheduled instances, and that is obviously you would schedule the instances, and what it really does is that you can let me just show you some of the documentation, because this is really interesting. So AWS schedule instances, AWS schedule instances, right? So scheduled reserved, okay, but what is scheduled instances, right? Seriously, can't they just give? I think I put scheduled, that's why they put it there like that. I want to just go for scheduled instances. Really? AWS scheduled instances. Okay, and it goes back to instance scheduler. Basically, what it does is that you want to reserve it for daily, weekly, or monthly schedule over the course of 1 year term. That's the beauty of it, and that's pretty amazing as well. That suppose you are creating an instance, and that, or number of instances, your schedule reserved really is the name for that. Suppose you want 3 instances to run every last 3 days of every month for 1 year. Last 3 days of every month, right? For maybe 2 years, maybe next 10 years. So what happens is that they will not charge you for the 27 days that the machines were shut down, and they will only charge you for those 3 days when the machines are up, because you committed with them that we're gonna always need these machines on the last 3 days of every month, or mid 3 days of every month, or starting 3 or 10 or 5 days of every month, or after after every 2 months we're gonna need these machines to run for 5 days. So these kind of schedules you can set there, and you only pay for when you use those machines. So that's a very cool thing, that you don't have to really create every time those machines.